Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Jennifer Almasri. I just wanted to talk about groundwork and how it's so important to include in your exercise routine with your horse. So let's talk about horses. Horses are prey animals, and what that means is they're always on high alert. No matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, you could be bringing them to a show, you can be bringing them on the trail, you can be bringing them on the street, or you can just be on cross ties, or you could just be in your ring. Now, I'm sure they've seen, your ring dozens of times, and then all of a sudden, let's just say a tree starts to shake due to heavy wind, or all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a bag flies out. These can be pretty scary things for your horse. And not only are they pretty scary for your horse, they can also be very detrimental to the rider if the rider is not, working with the horse on groundwork, when it comes to these items. And also the horse has never seen it. And also, just many things can happen. The horse can really, it can bolt, it can rear up. There's many things that the horse can do to just get away from the situation, depending on their reaction. So I'm not asking you to totally, desensitize them, because desensitizing them, in my opinion, is not possible, because we can only do so much. We can only do so much in the sense of circumstances and what's going to happen in our reality. So we really have to just work on the basics. And the basics for me would be like three things. Number one, I would suggest everybody works with a tarp or some sort of feed bag. That would be number one. And what I would suggest to do with a feed bag is sometimes, because everybody has them around the barn, you can actually fill it with something, even grain, rocks, whatever you want to fill it with, and you tie it, and then you actually shake it next to them when they are on a rope halter, of course, and a lead line, and you kind of, you work through that with them, or, however you want to do it. My suggestion is to work through that, because when you're shaking the bag and you're making that noise, it's actually energy, okay? You're shaking the bag is the energy, and you being the other energy, okay, where your energy should be calm. That's another thing. As the leader, as the person, doing the groundwork, you're supposed to be calm, because your horse is supposed to be connecting with you. You are the leader. And if you're calm, then they're going to see your energy as being calm, and the bag being the energy that's going, crazy and so forth. And the horse is going to go, oh, but my leader's calm, so why am I not calm? So this is what we have to teach. We have to teach the horse that in circumstances that come into play, I don't want you just to be the normal prey animal that you are and flee the situation and drop me on my butt and keep on running. No, we don't want that. We want our horses to actually, think. We want them to, process what's happening, to ask the leader a question, and the leader being you, the owner, or, whoever's working with this horse. Ask them a question, is this okay? Am I safe? Is safety with you? And you want to be the one say, yes, safety is right here. Stay with me. Safety is right here. And this is, this is something that has to be taught. This is something that has to be learned. So you have to teach your horse that you are safety. And in order to do that, you do that with groundwork exercises. And like I said, that's the best one. Number one right now is the feed bag. Number two, everybody should work with a flag. Now, my horse is petrified of the flag. I'm actually working with him right now as we speak with the flag. A lot of snorting is going on, a lot of movement. He's just not happy with the flag, but we are working through it, because when have you not seen a flag on a house when you're going out and you're walking, you're trail riding? And then the other day, I think I was walking in the street with him, bringing him to the trails, and on the side of the road was like a little marker, and it had like a little streamer coming off. He was actually snorting with that. So I don't know if that's going to happen on the trail. How do I know when I walk on the trail there's not going to be a bag there out of nowhere hanging on a tree, or somebody, decided to litter and put a bag on the ground? That can happen too. There are so many possibilities, and you have to be prepared, and you have to prepare your horse. So this is why I'm working with the flag. And the flag also being energy, okay? So when you're working with the flag, you want to introduce it slowly to them, and you want to be able to rub it all over their body, obviously both sides. And then you want to be able to bring the flag up and down and create energy, and you being the energy that is stabilized and low energy, and saying to them, it's okay. What are you getting all upset for? I'm not upset. It's okay. And and this is where you're teaching them to calm down. So that would be the next one. The third thing that I like to work with is, of course, I'm sorry, just give me a moment here. It just flew out of my mind. The lunge whip. And not as a scary thing. I like to work with it in the sense that I'm not doing anything with it. I just like to put it over my horse's body and have him experience what it feels like if I throw it over, like if you were like fishing in a fishing rod and you're putting it over his body, what it feels like. Because also with that lunge whip, I'm also using it as a tool, as an extension to my hand. And with that being said, like, I want to put the lunge whip over him and pull his body to me, when needed. So I'm using that as a tool. I'm also using it as a training tool when I'm doing backing up. I'm also using it as a training tool and asking to lead with energy. I'm using it as a training tool when I'm asking him to lunge. I'm just using it as a tool, and I don't want him to be afraid of it. I want him to understand it. And also I want to use it as, of course, just like the bag, just like anything else, like energy, okay? That's being created. Now with this energy being created and me being, the calm energy, your horse is learning again to be calm in situations. Because what if one day you're riding and all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of horses going crazy? Do you really want your horse to go crazy? No, you want them to pay attention to you. So that's the whole point of these exercises. Also, the groundwork is very, very important if you have a pushy horse. Groundwork works excellent if you have a pushy horse. It tells the horse, hey, you're not going to act like that. But you have to be consistent with it. There are exercises you can do to teach them not to be pushy. You can teach them not to bite. You can teach them not to rear, not to buck. There's many, many exercises you can do with your horse. Other exercises not only are not just desensitizing like I just did, but like I said, it's not desensitizing, is leadership roles. There are groundwork where you can establish leadership roles. They're very simple to do. If you do the ones that are in your capability. I'm not asking you to, do ones that are, ones that are a little bit, harder than you can do. No, do what's in your capability. But it's very important to establish leadership roles with your horse. Your horse needs a leader. They thrive with a leader, because when your horse starts thinking on its own, you have problems. You don't want them to think on their own. They are herd animals. They don't need to think on their own. I mean, sometimes you have a stubborn horse. My horse is very stubborn. He constantly likes to be in charge. So it's like every day I feel like I come into the barn, I'm constantly establishing leadership. Now, he will even test me on the cross ties sometimes. Sometimes he will move his body all over, and I just have to take him off, which I do, and I'll bring him in the ring, and I'll run his feet for a few minutes, and then I'll bring him back on the cross ties. And I'll be like, okay, we done now? And then if he starts, we're going to go out again, going to run his feet again. And then I keep on doing that until he realizes, oh, I'm doing more work. I could just stand on the cross ties nicely and get tacked up, or I could sit here and do more work. This is where it clicks in for them. This is where it clicks, because I don't want a pushy horse. I want a horse that's going to respect me and my space. And you have to teach your horse where your space is. You have to teach a horse that they cannot run you down when they're scared. You have to teach a horse. And by doing that, you establish rules and groundwork. And you have to show them. And like I said, it's super, super simple. You can go on YouTube. You can, Google many, many videos on how to do this. Just establish with them that, your space. So with horses, we can walk into their space and saddle them up. We can walk into their space. We can walk into their space if we have to brush them or so forth. But if they start getting pushy and like running into your space, like when you're brushing them and making you move your feet, no. That is not okay. Not okay. And you got to understand, in horse world, if you had two horses in a ring and let's say like one was a little bit more dominant than the other, what's going to happen is the one that's not dominant, let's say he's at the corner of the ring, the other dominant horse is going to push that horse out of that spot. It's going to push him out and tell him to get out of there. I'm standing in your spot. That's how horses communicate. That's how a human has to communicate. I'm pushing you out of your spot. You're not standing here. I'm standing in there. That's how horses communicate. They don't communicate when we treat them like dogs. Doesn't work. You can't treat them like a big dog. I'm telling you, they'll walk all over you and you're just going to have bigger problems. They thrive when you speak their language. When you speak their language, it's like a different day. They really do, give you everything you need, but you just have to be that leader sometimes. And I know it's hard. I know it's hard to be the leader, and I know it's, sometimes like, oh, groundwork. Yeah, it's actually fun. Believe it or not, if you actually try it, it's super, super fun. It builds connection. It builds a relationship with your horse. And to top it off, when you do the groundwork, you start to see where they are explosive. Like they actually show their true self, which is really nice because you get to see what they're all about. You get to see what they can do. You get to see where they are with pressure. You get to see like how much pressure can they handle, how much pressure can they not handle, are they shut down? There's so many things you can just tell from groundwork. And another thing is you have to really pay attention to their body language. Body language is so important. If they're really scared, you're going to see the whites of their eyes coming out. If they're not blinking, then that means that they're pretty scared, because if they're blinking, then, you know that they're somewhat processing what you just said, because if they're really scared, they're not blinking. And you look at their eyes, are their eyes hard? Are they really open, or do they look like a Bambi, like a deer sort of look, like soft? You know what I mean? That's what you want. You want them to be soft. You don't want their mouth to be all tight and pursed. No. You want a soft mouth. Are they licking and chewing? How does their body look? Is their body tight? Is it loose? How does their neck look? Is their neck tight? Is it loose? Are they shaking? How is their stance? Is their stance like in run mode? Are they in relaxation mode? These are all things that you have to look at while you're doing groundwork. Pay attention to all these things. How does their tail look? Is their tail up? Is it like, totally up? Is their head totally up? Are they snorting? How does their nose look? These are all things that must be looked at. What do their ears look like? Are they forward? Are they pointing back? Are they soft? What do you got? You have to look at all this, because this is what's going to help you when you're in a situation where your horse is going to spook. You're going to be able to feel underneath you, oh, his body's changing. I can feel it. I know it. I've seen this before. this is also where groundwork comes in, because it's a teller of all. You have to just, it's so important. I just cannot say enough about groundwork. This is why I had to make this video, because I actually put it into my routine. I've learned so much about my horse. We've really connected on so many levels after this, and he is just, I feel like he's really enjoying it because it's something new I'm bringing to the table. It's not just the boring old, okay, we're gonna do the ring work, we're gonna do trails. It's something new. It's like we're back in school. It's like we're learning. And, you know, sometimes they need that. They need to go back to school and to be not, I don't want to say the word retrained. I want to call it more of like, just like a little buffer class, you know what I mean? Just a little class to kind of get them up and back to the way they were. Because I'm sure they learned this way before you got them. I'm sure they all knew about this, unless you have younger horses, but mine is much older, so I'm sure he got this training at one time. But I hope you like my video. Please subscribe, because it really does help me get my videos out. Thank you for watching. Bye, guys.